Hello, my spiritual wisdom friends. Here is my story about grieving the loss of a loved one, a lesson from the teacher. In a quiet village, there lived an old teacher, known for his wisdom. People traveled from distant lands to sit at his feet and listen to his teachings on life, love, and the mysteries of the soul. One day, a young man named John arrived at the teacher's home. His face was pale, his eyes red with sorrow. His father had passed away only a month before, and the weight of his grief was unbearable. John bowed low before the teacher and said, "Master, I don't know how to live with this pain. My heart feels heavy. My spirit is lost. How do I manage this grief?" The teacher, with his gentle smile and kind eyes, motioned for John to sit beside him. He placed a hand on John's shoulder and began to speak. "Grief, my child, is like a deep river," the teacher began. "It flows through every human heart at some point in life. It is not something can control, but you can learn to navigate its waters. When we lose someone we love, the river rises and sweeps us away. We struggle against it, trying to find solid ground, but the river is not to be fought. The first lesson in managing grief is to allow yourself to be carried by the current." John listened, unsure of what this meant. "But Master," he said, "if I let go, won't the grief drown me?" The teacher nodded. "It can feel that way, yes, but do not mistake the river for an enemy. It is the natural flow of life and loss. When you surrender to it, you will find that it moves in waves. Some days the waters will be high, overwhelming you with sadness. Other days, they will be calm, allowing you moments of peace. Let the river carry you without judgment or resistance. That is the first step." John looked down at his hands, still trembling with the pain of his loss. "I don't know how to face this alone." "You don't have to," the teacher said gently. "Grief is a solitary journey, but it is not one you must walk entirely alone. We are all connected by the threads of love and loss. Lean on those who love you, your family, your friends. Share your memories. Speak of your father, and let others carry some of the weight of your sorrow with you. Just as we celebrate life together, we can also grieve together. The heart heals more quickly when it is not closed off in isolation." John's eyes softened, but he still felt the ache of his grief. "Don't know how to honor my father now that he's gone. It feels like he's slipping away from me, and I can't hold on." The teacher gazed into the distance, his voice lowering. "Your father is gone from this world, but his love remains. Love does not die with the body, nor do the memories and the lessons he gave you. Honor him by remembering him, not just in sadness, but in gratitude. Create rituals in his name. Light a candle, tell his stories, do something he loved. These are the ways we keep our loved ones close, even when they are no longer by our side." John nodded, beginning to understand that honoring his father did not mean clinging to the past, but carrying his memory forward into the future. "But what about the pain?" John asked. "It feels so heavy, like I'm drowning in it." The teacher leaned closer, his voice full of compassion. "The pain is real, my son, but you must not forget to show yourself compassion. Grief is a great teacher, but it is also exhausting. Be gentle with yourself. In the midst of your sorrow, remember to rest, to care for your body, to nourish your soul. Do not rush yourself back to the life you once knew. It will take time to find your new balance. Grief is not a race to be won, but a path to be walked with patience and love for yourself." John wiped the tears from his eye. "I want to understand why this happened, why death had to take him." The teacher's gaze softened. "Ah, the search for meaning. It is a question as old as time itself. You may not find an answer in the way you expect. But over time, you may come to see that your father's life was a gift, a sacred thread woven into your own. His impact on you, the love he gave, the lessons he taught, they are all part of who you are now. That is where the meaning lies, in the way you carry him forward in your heart, in the way his life continues through you. His physical body is gone, but his presence, his essence, lives on in the love that remains. John's heart began to feel lighter, though the sorrow still lingered. "Will I ever stop grieving?" he asked. The teacher smiled, a warm and knowing smile. "Grief never fully disappears, my child, but it changes. In time, it softens. The sharp pain you feel now will one day become a quiet sadness, a gentle reminder of the love you shared. It will transform into gratitude for the moments you had together. You will learn to carry your grief, not as a burden, but as a part of who you are. It is not about letting go of the one you lost. It is about learning to live with their memory in a way that brings you peace." John sat in silence for a long time, absorbing the teacher's words. His grief was still there, but it no longer felt as unbearable. It was something he could live with, something that would shape him, but not destroy him. As he stood to leave, the teacher spoke one final time. "Remember, John, grief is not a sign of weakness. It is a testament to the love you carry. And love, my child, is stronger than death." With that, John bowed deeply, feeling a sense of peace he hadn't known since his father's passing. He understood now that grief was not the end of love, but a continuation of it, a journey he would carry with him, one step at a time. And as he walked away from the teacher's home, the sun setting behind the mountains, John knew that though the path ahead would be difficult, he was not walking it alone. His father's love would always be with him, and so would the wisdom of the teacher's words. Thank you for listening to my story.